right. I am live. All right. Hello, happy Friday. Um, we are getting all set up here. And hello, happy Friday. So we are in our Create Captivate office, which we are currently rearranging. Today we are going to talk about entering the world of podcasting and questioning how to market your show properly. So we are going to talk about how to properly, or just in general, promote your podcast onto social media. So there's a few things that you can do, right? Obviously, you can promote to your own social media pages. You know, I get asked a lot, is that okay? Is that right? Is that proper? By all means, of course, share to your own platforms. It doesn't harm you at all. Second of all, please set up the appropriate podcast specific social media pages. So obviously, if you're geared more business to business, making sure you have a LinkedIn for your podcast. If you obviously do Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, if that makes sense for you, then please, by all means, set those up, optimize those as best you can. And then let's get into creating some valuable content. So obviously, creating content is so important. I know everyone's struggling right now. Engagement rates are low. A lot of social media is changing all of their ways. And one of the biggest ways that we've all known for a while this is changing is that it's all becoming video based. So if you're struggling with content right now and engagement, I totally understand. You are not alone. Hashtags are changing. Reels are becoming really more searchable than other tools. And so it's causing everyone a little bit of chaos, right? So here are some ideas of content that you can create to really promote your podcast. Highlight your guest is obviously a very, very big one. If you got a guest, highlight them, right? Tag them, promote them on your page, promote their pages, whether you're using graphics or images or videos. Maybe get them to hop on and do a live with you, or get them to take over stories for the day. Anything like that to highlight your guest. If you don't have a guest, then just really highlighting your topic. Of whatever the topic is for the week, whether that's, you're asking questions, you can do different tasks, what kind of topics people would like to see coming up. A new one that's been really popular for content that's actually done really pretty well on engagement is audiograms. So audiograms are image converted videos with some visual elements. So whether it's, seeing the wavy line of, the voice, or, throwing in some pictures with audio over it, or just doing, captions. Those have been performing very, very well. You can do pull quotes from the podcast, video parts of the, video the podcast and clip parts of the video, and use that as content. That's been very, very successful for a lot of podcasters. Again, video is just performing super, super well on all social media platforms. Behind the scenes. I've said it time and time again, people really, really love behind the scenes, whether you're posting it for actual content, you're posting in stories, saving to a highlight bubble, anything like that. So show, maybe the process of setting up your podcast, show the process of the behind the scenes of your prep. Maybe even just like some funny, different clips, or maybe even mess ups from your podcast if you have a guest or even yourself. And really kind of just promoting those behind the scenes. Obviously, pictures of you and your guest. If you take a selfie or have a picture taken, promote that. Running giveaways and contests, that always does really well. They do take a little bit of extra work. There are different platforms that can help you out with running those contests and giveaways. And then, seeking cross-promotional partnerships. So moving on away from the exact content, but other ways to help promote your event would be to have a strong hashtag strategy. So we've talked a little bit in the past how hashtags aren't as searchable anymore, but they are still utilized. So having not as many hashtags, so not, like 20 hashtags, but really come up with a solid, 3 to 10 hashtags that will have a couple that are a little bit more broad, have a couple that are a little bit more geared towards your location specifically, and then specific hashtags on your topic or your podcast category. Again, seeking those cross-promotional partnerships. So whether it's with a creator or it's with another podcaster, be a guest on a podcast, right? You can promote your own podcast by being a guest on someone else's, as long as you truly listen to their podcast and you also align together with whether it's talking about the same topics, or maybe even having a controversial conversation. But as long as that makes sense for the podcast and for yours, always think those kind of things through. Publishing the whole video of your podcast or doing a live podcast. These perform very, very well. They help to get engagement. So then you can push that to YouTube later on. Live podcasting does really, really well as long as you promote it ahead of time. Maybe trying one of those, once a quarter, and then maybe upping that from there if need be. Maybe they can be longer, maybe they can be shorter, but just trying to change it up a little bit. Make a blog post out of your episode. So if you watched last week's on how to promote your podcast, Karen McCann went all over how to promote on websites and calendars and all of that kind of thing. So if you haven't seen that, please check that out. But then promoting it again on your social media. Engaging with your audience. This is always a big one, right? So responding to comments, share, retweet, host a live, duet. If you don't know about duets, on Instagram, if you're doing a reel, you can duet, or you can duet on TikTok, and share on stories. These are all really manageable things. These are things to think about in your content when you're planning ahead. It's all becoming more and more towards video. The more video that you can take and you can use in your content, the more engagement and reach that you will gain. The best advice I can give you is just every so often whip out your phone, take some pictures, take some videos, and you can always go back later and make that into content. We will keep you guys updated on any of the changes that we know social media is making right now, the buzz in the world about how is content engagement changing, as well as hopefully we'll get some new updates from Facebook about their podcasting platform. I have seen some influential people utilizing those audio rooms. So we'll see over time if it rolls out to everyone, and how you guys who are interested in podcasting can hopefully get on Facebook podcasts and audio rooms. But for now, if you have any questions about content for podcasts in particular, please drop it in the comments or give us a DM. We are always happy to answer all of your questions. In the meantime, that is it for this FriYAY, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.